So I think it's good that I do like a follow-up video from my video yesterday talking about men being traumatized by relationships. It cracks me up, but at this point in my life, but this was not always the case. So I'll tell you a story. All right, so it's like 2012, and I was in a relationship with a woman, and it started out like codependent from the very beginning. Just skip to the details, man. So fuck it, it's like this. Me and my baby mama had a real sick relationship. It was fucking bad. It was wrong. It was alcoholic, drug abuse, codependency, all this stuff, man. And there was zero communication skills, you know. It was just all bad. It was like a really bad relationship. And I remember like we would fight like all the time, and I'd leave and I'd go back and I'd leave and I'd go back and I'd go to my homies and you know, I'd complain about it and I'd cry about it. I'm like, oh man, baby mama's acting like this, she's acting like that, she won't let me see my kid, she's a bitch, she's always yelling and screaming at me, whoop-de-whoop, all this shit. And it was extremely unhealthy, you know. And I'd go back, we'd fight, I'd leave, I'd go back, and it kept getting progressively worse. You know, alcohol, drugs in the mix, and you know, she's just very belligerent, and I'm just like, she's very belligerent. She doesn't mind fighting. Like, we would fight. Like, it got to the point where like we would physically fight, like not like punching and kicking and stomping and shit like that. Like, it would get crazy, you know. She would say the craziest shit to me, and I'd go and flip the chair that she's sitting in. She would say the craziest shit to me. I'd throw a glass of water in her face. She would say the craziest shit to me, and I fucking slapped her, you know. That happened a few times. It wasn't an isolated incident. It happened a few times, and I eventually, she called the police. I went to jail. She went to jail for it, and then I'm in jail writing her letters. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I see, you know, what I've done wrong. I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna marry you. Whoop-de-whoop. And then when it was come time to get out of jail, I was in there 6 months. It's like I knew that I needed to go someplace else. I could not go back into that situation. It was going to be the same thing and worse. And so I told her that on the jail phone, like, or wrote a letter, whatever. But I remember I told her, like, I think I need to go to like treatment, sober living. Like, I need to find a stable place to live. Like, I need to have a stable life, and then we can like work on things. And she flipped out on that. She was like, oh well, if you're not gonna come back and stay with me, then fuck you, go to hell, rot in hell. You'll never see your daughter again. And I was like, fuck, you know. So I go back, and it was the same shit. It was the same shit. We were fighting, and it was progressing. I remember, and I would leave. I remember at one point, man, like I went over there to visit my kid, and like she literally broke the window out of her own house and called the police and told them I did it. You know, shit like that. Like, and then I would do shit like, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna come see my daughter today, and then I wouldn't. I'd fucking be drinking with the homies and shit, and I wouldn't even show up. Man, long story short is like, honestly, regardless, like I went to jail and everything, like I do think that I was the more mature person, like throughout the whole thing. Like, it was pretty bad. And I remember like trying to communicate, like even thinking I was the better, you know, I was the right party a lot of the time. Like, it still didn't excuse any of my behavior. It didn't even, like, it's still, like, and then the fact we had a kid together, it didn't justify me being in that relationship that was so sick. Eventually, she got another boyfriend. I was fucked up about it. And, I was fucked up about it, and their relationship was way fucking worse than our relationship. Like, he really did beat her ass. And, you know, I felt bad for her. But she'd come to me with, like, black eye, swollen lips, and be like, oh, he did this to me. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go fuck him up. And she'd be like, no, don't do anything. Don't do anything. I love him. And long story short, man, the point I'm getting to is that like everything in that happens in our relationship is our fault. It is our responsibility. Like if it's that bad, you shouldn't be there. You should be working on yourself. Like everything that I went through, going to jail over her, going to my homies and crying and complaining about how she's acting, like that was my choice. I remember the homie told me, like, bro, you're stupid as fuck. Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, you should leave. You should not be there. Like, if it's such a fucking problem, then don't go back. And I was like, oh, fuck you, man. You don't understand. She has my kid. And there's no excuses, though. It's no excuses. I mean, damn, we live in this world where everything is trackable, like everything is traceable. If you get your shit together, you can have your kid. I did it, bro. I did it. Like, I went to felony domestic violence, diagnosed mental health, and I have my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, I was the bad guy the whole time. I was the bad guy. I have my daughter now. But what I'm saying is, man, that was not a traumatic experience. That was a learning and growing experience. Like, I'm not going to judge my view of every woman in the world based on that, like, and I'm not going to judge myself based on that except for my actions. So, yeah. It's honestly a longer story than that, and it's honestly gets crazier. Yes. Yeah. But man, I'm just saying, like, this is the thing though. Like, we have to take accountability, man. We have to take accountability for all of our shit. Like, if we have a fucked up relationship, realize it's our fault. Like, we picked that person, we stayed with that person, and most of the time we contributed to the fucked up toxicity of that relationship, even though nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to be like, oh, damn, I did that. I was wrong. We always want to find blame in somebody else and then make ourselves out to be something we're not. Like, we're all saints and shit. Oh, man, it's just not okay to be that weak. Like, you go through life, like, you should grow stronger through time. Like, you should grow in understanding. You should, like, not be blaming women for the problems in your relationships. I'm not saying, like, women are faultless. They're not. Fuck, they're not. But as a man, you made all your choices to be there and how you conduct yourself in that. It's getting weirder out here. It's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Now it's like, me having like a background in mental health, being diagnosed, being awarded disability based on that, like, I don't know, I feel kind of qualified to speak on this. Like, your mental health is not a big deal to everybody else. That is your problem, and you need to do something to fix it. You need to handle your mental health. It's not up to your woman. It's not up to the state. It's not up to society to pamper and coddle you. Like, if you have mental health issues, like, it's totally you to try to come to grips with reality and how you're going to deal with it. And on top of that, if you're using drugs and alcohol, you're fucked from the gate. From the gate, your mental health is going to shit. Like, you're doing the exact opposite of maintaining it. So, long story short, man, I probably said too much. There's going to be some people that's not happy that I made this video or talked about these things. But, like, I had probably like the most dysfunctional relationship that I've ever seen in my life. I don't personally know people who go through these things. And the things that you hear about, like, do get much worse. Like, he really did beat her ass, and it really was fucking bad. Like, that wasn't me. But what was me is putting myself in a position that I consistently regretted. Putting myself in a spot that I hated. and going back to it and back to it because I thought I was right. Because I thought I was right. I heard it in AA before. They say it all the time. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I don't even believe in happiness, but I believe in contentment. Do you want to be right or do you want to be able to accept your conduct and your actions every day? And that's what it came down to. I had to be able to accept myself for my actions and my conduct. I have absolutely no control over the other person. I had to be able to make the choices that I could live with daily, consistently. And it's hard to do sometimes because when you're in these kind of like sick relationships, and especially kids are involved, you don't know what to do. You know what you know needs to be done, but you can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. It's like, fuck, I need to take better care of my kid. I need to take better care of this situation. But it's not like you can just like up and change everything. Like you're in a position, you just got out of jail, you know, trying to find regular work, jumping through the hoops of probation or parole, whatever it is, you know, dealing with the courts and all that. They make you take so many classes and all this stuff. Like, it seems impossible. It seems impossible to do, but it is possible. And I did it. Like, I might have done like the bare minimum, but this is the thing I could say. Keep showing up and doing what you know needs to be done. You can't always do it perfectly. But no, do what you know needs to be done. And sometimes it's hard. Like, walking away is hard. Like, accepting that you have absolutely no control and letting things go, taking the loss and moving on. Because in reality, you're not taking a loss. You're letting go of a curse so you can open your hands for a blessing. Anyways, I just want to qualify my statement on men being traumatized by relationships. I just want to qualify my statement because, like, I've been through some crazy ass relationship shit, and there's really no excuses. There's really no excuses. And then plus, if you're traumatized by this relationship, then what? It changes you for life or something? Like, it doesn't have to be that way. So, long story short, it's not okay to be that. It's not okay to be weak mentally, emotionally. Like, it hurts a lot, actually. You know, being that weak, being, you know, telling yourself, "Oh, I'm traumatized over this bitch." Like, you're only hurting yourself. Like, you don't have to be that way. So, what's the solution? What's the solution? Make the choices that you respect. Be fucking honest to yourself. And make the choice that you can respect tomorrow. I don't know what this video is going to look like or sound like, but hope they don't use it against me in court.